Have the Green Bay Packers fooled the entire NFL? What do I mean by that? Before I get into it, if you'd like the content, then hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into it. Let's go back to 1992 when the Green Bay Packers went and made a trade with the Atlanta Falcons for quarterback Brett Favre. It wasn't too long into Brett Favre's career where we knew this guy was something special. We knew he had the stuff. We certainly knew by 2005, the year that they drafted Aaron Rodgers, that he was going to be a future Hall of Fame quarterback. So why on earth did the Green Bay Packers go and select Aaron Rodgers in the first round rather than deciding to put weapons around their future Hall of Fame quarterback in Brett Favre? Those were all the questions being asked at the time. And then you go and get Aaron Rodgers under helm. It wasn't too long into Aaron Rodgers' career where we knew this dude had the stuff. We knew this guy was going to be a future Hall of Fame quarterback. We certainly knew by the year 2020, the year that they drafted Jordan Love, that he was going to be a future Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay, we're talking about a four-time MVP, Super Bowl champion quarterback. Why on earth did the Green Bay Packers go and select a quarterback in the first round rather than putting some weapons around their future Hall of Famer? Brian Gutekunst stuck his neck out on the line. Brian Gutekunst looked like an absolute fool at the time. Why on earth doing that? Okay, so again, he stuck his neck out on the line. But then you fast forward to 2023, Jordan Love's first year as a starting quarterback in this league. How did he do? He performed amazing. Okay, so the dude put up stats that made him a premier quarterback this year. He certainly looks like he has the stuff. I'm not saying this guy is going to be a future Hall of Fame quarterback, but he certainly has the recipe to be so. But then you look at the Green Bay Packers overall. What was, you start talking about Brian Gutekunst as GM and Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers, and that you're looking at what that organization has done, the way that they have moved on from Aaron Rodgers and getting draft capital, the way that they have built this team right now. And they built it around, honestly, they built it around Matt LaFleur and his offensive scheme. Okay. So Matt LaFleur is certainly, this year without Aaron Rodgers, he had the pressures off. We got to see the offense that Matt LaFleur wanted to run, as Brian Gutekunst had said. Okay, so this is Matt LaFleur's offense. And so what does Brian Gutekunst do? Brian Gutekunst goes and builds a team. The last couple of years, we look at this team, the youngest team in the NFL. We look at the talent that is on this team, and you look at what Romeo Doubs has been able to do. Christian Watson, we know that if he can get his hamstrings figured out, we know the weapon that he is. We've seen what Jaden Reed can do. We've seen what Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, we've seen what the talent their offensive line was able to do. Okay, so speaking of which, and we start talking about their offensive line. Okay, so what do the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love do? Okay, so not only are they one of the youngest teams to make the playoffs in history. Okay, they go on the road to a red hot Dallas Cowboys team, 8-0 at home. Micah Parsons, how many times did he sack Jordan Love? Many times did anybody on the Dallas Cowboys sack Jordan Love? Zero times. Okay, so then you fast forward to them going on the road. Once they defeat the Cowboys, and they did it in such great fashion, they go on the road to the hottest team. You can make the argument that the Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers were the two hottest teams, along with the Baltimore Ravens. Those were the three hottest teams in the NFL. And then you look at Nick Bosa. How many times did Nick Bosa get to Jordan Love? No times. Okay, so Jordan Love. Okay, so let's talk about his athleticism. The way that he's able to scramble, buy himself some time, it was brilliant. In fact, he did so in this game. He bought himself some time, but every quarterback is bound to make some errors and some mistakes. We've certainly seen it in Brett Favre. We've certainly seen it in Aaron Rodgers throughout the years. Late in that game, if you remember, Jordan Love was scrambling. He has Aaron Jones for a little dump pass. He scrambles, buys himself some times. He missed throws. The Green Bay Packers have to punt. And then he throws behind one of his receivers, gets tipped, gets picked. And then I'm like, okay, how is he going to be able to respond? He showed some brilliance at times in this game, but then that costly turnover at the very end of the game when, of course, we can look back and be like, oh my gosh, why on earth did he throw that ball? Everybody wants to blame Anders Carlson for that loss. Honestly, Matt LaFleur hit it right on the head. He said it was a series of mistakes in this game. Yes, you can look at Anders Carlson and his missed field goal. That certainly took the wind out of the Packers' sails. But when you start talking about, the two missed interceptions that the Green Bay Packers had, that would have been complete momentum changers. One of them would have been a pick six. for the Green Bay Packers. They weren't able to come up with it. Defensively, they looked really good. They were able to stop the San Francisco 49ers team. I say all that to say the Green Bay Packers looked absolutely every bit of the part of a Super Bowl contender. Okay. So that gives the Packers so much optimism, and it leaves teams being like, what on earth is going in Green Bay? Why is Green Bay making the NFL look like absolute fools? What are they doing that no other team can do? Any team out there would kill to have a just a good, solid starting quarterback. I mean, you weren't even talking about some of the teams in the playoffs. Okay, so after that loss to the Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys started doubting, is Dak Prescott our guy for the future? You look at so many other teams in this league, not even just even the Detroit Lions. They're already starting to talk, is Jared Goff going to be our quarterback? And I do think they are going to lose this game to the San Francisco 49ers. So then you're going to start really seeing some questions swirling. Is Jared Goff our guy for the future? We need to go and get another quarterback. In the NFC North alone, you look at Justin Fields. Everybody's asking the questions, is Justin Fields our guy? We know that in Jordan Love, we have got our guy. So what Brian Gutekunst has been able to do, what he has been able to accomplish for this young team in the Green Bay Packers, has the NFL looking to the Green Bay Packers almost like they're the big brother of the NFL of what is Brian Gutekunst going to do in the draft? What, he doesn't need to get anything, but I'm super curious what Brian Gutekunst is going to do. We know that it's going to be next to brilliant, honestly, when you break it down. Okay, so let's take a look at the list of upcoming free agents that the Green Bay Packers have on the books. So what can the Green Bay Packers what is Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers going to do with some of the upcoming free agents? Let's take a look at this list of free agents. So when you start looking at some of the free agents, the content is loading. Give me one sec here. But you start talking about AJ Dillon, Darnell Savage, Keyshawn Nixon. What are the Green Bay Packers going to do? You know, what is Brian Gutekunst going to do with this group? Okay, so we look at John Runyon right there. What are they going to do with him? Are they going to keep him, retain him? He's an unrestricted free agent. The content isn't loading, but the Packers are going to be faced with some decisions. At the end of the day, we know that Brian Gutekunst is going to be the one making the decisions, and we can take full confidence that Brian Gutekunst knows exactly what he is doing. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. The Green Bay Packers are looking like that franchise that everybody is looking up to of, man, the Green Bay Packers have got their stuff figured out. What do we need to do to emulate, to mirror what this franchise is doing? Leave your comments. Go Pack.